This is your host, Pete Moore, and I am pleased and humbled to announce the launch of my one and only book titled Time to Win Again, 50 Takeaways from Playing and Watching Team Sports to Guarantee Your Business Success. Those of you who know me personally, and anyone who listens to Halo Talks for any length of time, know that I am an avid sports fan and a big believer in the value of team sports. What I've seen over the past 25 years helping businesses grow, raising capital, being an entrepreneur myself, and coaching and mentoring executives in the sector, it's the lessons learned on the field perfectly apply to business. Entrepreneurs, executives, managers, you name it. Every company that's a strong company has got a good team. It's a quick read. There's awesome illustrations in there from our good friend Mark at Cruelty Free Cartoons. If you go to integritysq.com, enter your email address, and we will send you information on the book and the Entrepreneur's Survival Kit as well. Be great. Take names. Go Halo.
This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of going straight from 30th and 6th and 7th. We are live back in the gym. UpFit, Wes and Paul, good to see you guys active, making change, bringing fitness back to society. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Pete. I'm really excited to be on.
Thanks, Pete.
Awesome. So it's been a long hiatus, but why don't you give us your guys' background on how you started taking us through the pandemic and coming out stronger on the other side?
Yeah, it was an interesting time for us because, one, we're a bit of a new concept. We run small group training where everybody's on an individualized training program, but it's in a small group, so you get that team energy and dynamic, different from what a lot of people in New York were doing. And then when the pandemic hit, it really hit us pretty hard. We kind of basically dropped down to 50% of our member base. And the funny thing was, as we were slowly ramping back up, we gained an insane amount of traction just because of the big, I would say that the biggest thing that we do differently is just it's so community focused. Mm-hmm. And everything from hosting Zoom happy hours to actually in-person events at Madison Square Park. And we're, in the midst of setting up a UpFit bowling night. So yeah, it's not just training, nutrition, results, and all that, but it's really community focused too.
Awesome. And Paul, how did you guys connect originally?
So me and Wes knew each other from way back. We went to actually junior high school together.
Okay.
And a funny story. First time I met Wes, or I kind of noticed Wes, was this kid was 12 years old, outside out of school. We just got out of school. And this kid had his shirt off with 2 water bottles. WWE was big back in the day. So he was
yeah, of course, man.
Triple H impression. I was like, who's this guy? 12 years old, shredded. I'm going to meet this kid. So,
was he shredded at 12?
Just shredded.
With an 8.
Oh my. Dude, I put one of my buddies, Jason Allinger, in a figure 4 leg lock in front of his house one day back when I was back in Long Island. He went crying back to his mother.
Oh my God, yeah. Exactly, yeah. That thing was really big back in the day. So,
Yeah, I love that.
So that's how I wanted to meet him.
And did you guys start lifting back in junior high school or what?
Yeah, the basic 10 by 10 bench press only.
Bicep curls too, Pete.
No back, all bench press.
Curls for the
all bench, no all chest, no back.
Exactly.
We used to in college. We used to have this big mirror that we used to stand in front of me and my buddy from Roslyn, and we used to do posing in front of there. And I'm like, I don't think that really played very well, except for the 2 of us back in the day. So when did you reconnect after, or have you been kind of working together episodically ever since?
So we kind of went our separate ways after high school, just through college. Wes went, pretty deep into the more corporate fitness structure. Worked at a bunch of big box gyms, working, management and sales. And I headed more into the public sector, working with collegiate athletes, Division III to Division I schools, went toward getting my master's in strength and conditioning, and spent some time also at Equinox. So we connected right around the time I finished up grad school, and we just started talking about, what each other's experiences were and what we see the fitness industry as it is now, and realized we can do this way better than 85% of the people in the industry now through our experiences. And we decided to just come up with a concept together. And then, 4 years later, UpFit is here. And, a lot of it is the culmination of what our conversations have been since we reconnected.
Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing the size of your community and, how people gravitate towards you. We spend a lot of time talking about this HVLP concept, which is, cost less than a turkey wrap in New York City. Some of these groups don't really talk about the results that they're getting for people because that's not really their focus. It's really, giving people like a self-serve to a laundromat. So, how do you kind of cut through the noise and say, hey, look, there's all these great different options that you have, but if you want to get results, like we're serious about it, and we got, data, and we got people that you could see a before and after, and this is real, and you got to pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, those sort of ideas, I'm incepting them into people's heads right from the phone conversation when they're still a prospect. And I'm telling them, hey, this is a different sort of training methodology. We're very driven. You're going to track your sets, your reps, your weights. It's going to be progressively overloaded over time. But the end destination is we have crazy before and afters, people losing 75, 85 pounds of body fat, putting on 20, 30 pounds of muscle. We're known for body transformations, and we're the top rated place in New York City for small group training that does that. So, that's just the evidence right there. But, even past that too, is it's like, we're here for your best interest, so everything that we do, I've heard you talk about like sleeper members.
Yeah.
Term before.
Yeah. And I don't like those.
Yeah, we don't like that. There are no sleeper members here. I treat members as if they're like my extended family. I don't need paying for something that you're not getting a tremendous value out of. And I say that right off the bat. And I think when people hear that, they get, one, it puts them at ease, and they understand, hey, if I'm coming here, I'm going to get taken care of, and I'm going to get results and a great training experience. Just as if you were to go to like a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons, and we have those, big corporate, big box gym like backgrounds where it's very service oriented. And then we felt like, that paired with just good evidence-based training, periodization, individualization, and then top-notch coaches. You stack the community on top of that, and that's really what we've built over here.
Yeah. So how do you guys divide and conquer, or, does it kind of, since you've known each other since 12, does it kind of happen, organically?
Yeah. So I think going into it, we were kind of, what our roles going to be. They weren't as decided, but I think as we started working more and more, they become way more clear. Wes just had a conversation the other day about, our different ways of thinking, our ways of training people, and just our kind of biases of running the business. And, Wes, his background is, more in sales and marketing. He does have a training background, but, he loves that part of the business. He likes generating leads. He likes the marketing end. That's what he enjoys doing, and that's what he looks first once the business starts kind of faltering off. Is how can we get more leads in here? For me, it's more, while I do have experience with those things, I enjoy finding out how I can get the most results from our clients. How can we train our people better? So I guess in a nutshell, it's, hey, Wes's job is to get more people in here. My job is to keep people there forever once they're here.
Gotcha.
I think that combination is a big reason of why we've been successful. Well, not the primary, but I think it has something to definitely do with it.
So you guys obviously have a lot of history together, so it's probably easier to go through tough times because there's a foundation of trust that's not, easily replicated. So, during the pandemic, when you had to shut down, maybe you were doing some workouts kind of quietly, like some of our other groups were doing and I was doing, when you hit the tough times, you shed a little light on how strong the partnership is and how it's like a rubber band and, adversity is kind of part of business.
Yeah, the same way that you face adversity every single day when you're training, and that's really helped to develop character. We face the same thing during the pandemic, right? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to say that, at certain times, you do feel like, oh, it would be easier to just exit out of this and liquidate like whatever we've got. But then, then you realize like, hey, that's just, you got to put that behind you. And no, we're moving forward. There's nowhere to go but straight forward from here. And so, we adapted very quickly. We rolled out with a bunch of virtual options, kept our current community engaged, and anybody that was willing to come in kind of held on to that, and then kind of waited out the storm. New York was one of the, the center points of this like pandemic, and we really got hit pretty bad. But come September, things started opening up, and we were just exploding like from there. And so we're doing basically better than pre-pandemic revenue. And just to shed a little bit more light on what Paul was talking about before, in terms of our management styles and what we focus on, I'm very heavily concentrated on, yes, it's acquisition, right? It's like lowering the churn. We want to get EBITDA as high as possible, right? And if this ever went a direction where we were, it was going to be some sort of growth equity deal, right? And then, I'm trying to, Paul, with what he's working on, being like the director of training, he's trying to increase that lifetime value and just literally value delivered to members. And so, with our focuses on these different areas, I think it's a match that's really, it's a really strong synergy where, a lot of other smaller, I guess you would call them boutiques, don't necessarily have. And, we've, in our competitive analysis and seeing just how everything has unfolded in the past year, we've seen a lot of places go under, unfortunately. Whereas, we've been doing very well. So I'm really fortunate and happy about that.
Yeah. So both of you guys are basically in the studio pretty much all the time, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things maybe you could help shed light on for some of the people listening here is, I'm going to make an assumption and then you can just nod your head, even though we're not on video here for the podcast. You could look at the data, but if you guys talk to everybody every day, that is the data. And that's actually better than looking at a spreadsheet. So talk about, maybe Paul, like the interaction and understanding, what people need. They obviously are looking for results, but they're also looking for, probably a friend. They're looking for a therapist. They're looking for a mentor. They're looking for someone to vent to. And that connectivity that you have there, you don't have to go run a report. I just have to be human. So maybe give us a little more commentary on that thread.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big part of our program. The face-to-face interactions, the coaching, the conversations, it definitely can't be substituted. I think we have that advantage over, a video program where people just come in and follow a video, stuff like that. It's people coming in, telling us about what their situation is, us listening to them, acknowledging their situation, and listening to what they're going through and coming up with a plan together. Mm-hmm. Hearing them out. What are your pain points? What are you concerned about? Just having that conversation that people don't have with other people in regards to their fitness and health. And then coming up with a plan together and then laying out a vision for them that it's clear and executable. I think that kind of vision, it leaves an impression on people on how I can improve on my pain points and that I'll also feel supported while I'm doing it. And I'm going to have guidance along the way. I think that's huge. And, sometimes we have a ton of people in the city, but not all these people are always connected, a part of a community where people are being acknowledged for their stories. So I think that's something we really try to do, and really make a point of hearing their story and acknowledging it, and, having a collaborative experience with these people, with our clients.
Yeah, that's great. So, you guys obviously are changing people's lives. You're probably helping more people than everybody that you train with and you get results for has 3 or 4 people or more that depend on that person. So it's a domino effect. I think somebody leaves the club and, lost 15, 20 pounds or what have you. They spread the word, they feel better. They probably say hello to their doorman. They probably are nicer to the taxi guy. They say, pleasantries to somebody else. So it's a cascading effect. So how do you guys define what success looks like for you? And before you answer that, we have people come in and say, hey, I want to build 500 studios. I want to build 1,000 studios. I want to do this and that. I'm like, look, build one, affect change, and, affect like your local market. And then once you nail that, then figure out where you want to take your life and where you want to take your business. So, you guys are obviously very focused. You got a great community. Do you feel the need to scale that to hundreds of thousands of people? You'd be like, hey man, look, we're good. We're crushing it. We're helping people. We sleep at night. And as this thing evolves, it evolves.
Yeah. And I'll speak from at least like the biz dev side. I think one of the big things we're working on this year is productizing what we do. And in that sense, making it a little bit more scalable, so that way we can replicate the programming and the value that's ultimately delivered, and make it so that way, our responsibilities become less of actually the one-to-one interactions with members, becomes more of us disseminating the program to our coaches, and then the coaches are relaying it over to the members. And so, that's something that we're working on this year, but, that would definitely move us more closer towards what I would define as success. And then eventually, we are growing to a point where we're reaching capacity. It will have to move into a second location, and the scaling up of that to being able to execute this just as well in number 2 or number 3 doesn't need to be 100. Like you always say in the podcast, you say, hey, how about getting the unit economics down of one spot and then slowly taking it out from there? I've definitely been listening to you more and just taking that advice and here, let's just move along slowly and let's really nail this formula down. And I think things will continue to happen organically. We're pretty patient. We're not in a rush. I don't need to be the next Orange Theory. But I know that what we've got is really, really valuable. And I know that, as this team grows, we bring the right people on, it'll just become, more apparent to more people.
That's awesome. So, talk about the location there and, what a typical, month looks like. How many days do you want somebody in the studio? How many days do you want them communicating with you? Give us a little roadmap of somebody that becomes a new member of the community.
Yeah. So, most people come in, and they're starting off depending on their level of experience at a certain frequency, whether that's 2 or 3 times a week, but ultimately they're trying to transcend that and then move into just the most physically active and healthy lifestyle that they could juggle with everything else that they've got going on, right? We're in New York. It's a high stress lifestyle. People work a ton. They probably don't sleep enough. They need to balance out their stress management, their recovery, their sleep, and then get a few, workouts in there as well. So we want it to be as productive for people and collaborative as possible. So that answer isn't a straightforward, everybody starts here answer, but generally it's a 2 or 3 time a week exposure with us. And then, at least right now, the average person is with us just a bit over 10 and a half months. At that sort of frequency, and it gradually ramps up as they're with us. But that also means that our level of engagement continues on a regular basis as well. So right now, I'll give you an example. It's like Paul's doing like a cutting group. So there's probably about 10 people involved in this cutting group where they're tracking calories, counting macros. He's doing weekly Zoom calls. And this is available for all members and some like non-members as well. And it's just, one, it's more exposure, it's more added value. And so, you know, whatever you want to call them, touch points, they are basically every single day. So we try to just make it a point to be as big of a part of their lives as they're willing to reciprocate with.
Cool. And so you guys got any good quotes that you could share with our community? I'm sure there's a lot of motivational quotes going on there nonstop. What are some of your all-time favorites? I'll give you a second to think of your best ones, because I know Paul's got plenty.
Pretty deep right now.
I guess the one I could say is, I got a tattoo of it actually, is the obstacle in the path becomes the way.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, with adversity, with a situation that seems like an obstacle, it's just an opportunity to get better.
Yeah, love it. Wes?
I got a few. I'll lay out just one, because the thing is, you know, we're always trying new things. And I think that if you're not trying new things, you're never really going to make true progress. But the thing is, you know, when you do try new things, sometimes you're going to fail. So I like this one. I like fail fast, fail small, fail forward.
Nice. Awesome. All right, man. I'm glad to see you guys live and in charge. I'll be back in the city in a couple of weeks. I got a big event. Dave, make sure we invite these guys to the FDNY fitness event that we're doing. We'll tell you about that later, but we'll be in mid-July. So I'll come in and get a workout with you guys and keep pushing. Use this as a resource as you need it. And Wes, thanks for joining the Academy. And I'm glad it's helping synthesize what you're doing there. And you guys are on a great path. And I love what the way you're methodically making it happen. So good to see you guys. Nothing but good things. And take your shirt off again if you want, and we'll come and wrestle you when I see you.
Like your boy Mantis.
Yeah, I know, right? Right, exactly. All right, guys. All right, I'll see you soon. Be safe. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Take care, guys. Bye.